Hello and welcome to Paranormal Path Peeps. Got a special one tonight. Got Barrie John who's turned his sound off. That's it. That's better. That would have been funny.
We're on. It's technical. It's ghosts in the system, not me.
Yeah. Any excuse, isn't it? So, we just thought we'd sort of have a chat because me and Barrie have been quite busy. Basically, Barrie has started hosting events at a beautiful location, which means so much to you, really, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, it really is an historic house, isn't it? An historic location of Newstead Abbey in Nottinghamshire, and it's really something that we've been on about doing for a while. And I've got to say, Jackie, as you know, it's proven so successful. We're finding we did our first event there in September. That sold out within 3 days. We've just advertised the 21st of February. That sold out within about a week and a bit. And then we've just advertised the 22nd, and that went out on Wednesday. Bearing in mind it's only Friday, and we've already sold 2/3 of the tickets.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's phenomenal, really.
But you just got a mix of everything, haven't you, with it?
You have,
you've got the old, like, 1200s Abbey, then you've got the beautiful house. Hiya. And it's just there, isn't it?
So much of it. Hello, Tracy. So much of it. And the thing is, we found this, didn't we, when we were leaving that night, Jackie, where you got your name called back afterwards. And it's silly things like that, where there's so much that happens behind closed doors. And I mean, if I remember rightly, on that night, we got footsteps, we got recordings, voice recordings, and all sorts of things. I mean, don't forget, I work there, not every day, but not far off every day. And for me, it's great,
isn't it?
Yeah. For me, there's things that have happened to me when I've been there, and other members of staff when it's not a ghost night, when it's a normal working day. And there's things that's happened to us that's really made it quite inquisitive in a nice way, and that's what the good thing is from it, really.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just a bit strange for me because, like, when I was leaving and there's, like, your sister behind me, then there was you.
Yeah.
Somebody shouted Jackie behind me.
Yeah.
I turn round and Amanda says, "Oh, I've heard someone call your name, Jackie." So she heard it so clearly as well.
Yeah. And the thing was, there was nobody else there, was there?
No, that's right. And all the public had gone and everything, and there's just one or two of us that they were with the cars, weren't they? And and it's just like, because I felt really bad because I was in, is it the Charles room?
Charles II room, yeah.
Charles II room, and I was in there, and I felt really bad because I picked up on this lady, and she was and I got that she was just there, and she'd gone out the way of everybody else, and she decided to go there just to read a book because she wanted to get away from the family. Then we all arrived in there, and I was so apologetic to her, and I thought, oh my gosh, but when you're hosting, it's like you can't really go anywhere else. Like, I was kind of in that room for an hour. Then I went somewhere else to come back again. And it's like, oh, sorry, missus, and then you, like, try and focus on sort of seeing who else is available to speak. So I really didn't want to, but I felt so bad. But I think because I acknowledged her and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, that I think as I left, she wanted to speak to me. It's really random.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Because, I mean, I think in a way, you'd really connected with her. And I remember you telling me while we were on the event, that you connected with this lady. But then for that to happen at the end, for me, it clearly shows that she's trying to call you back into the building. But I think, I mean, we've got some other great events. It's not just Newstead coming up. I mean, we've got Matlock Pavilion coming up at the end of February. Again, that one sold out for us, didn't it?
Sold out, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we're already getting bookings on the September one. And I mean, I think for both of us, we don't want to be an events company. There's some great companies out there that do it very, very, very well.
That's right.
And I like Jackie, we enjoy doing this for ourselves and for our sort of close contacts. And that's where I'd like to keep it going. So, I mean, leave the good companies to it. They know what they're doing for selling all these bigger events.
Yeah.
But certainly for us, we've always said that we're happy sort of staying localish in a way.
Hiya.
So, hiya, Rebecca.
That's right. And like Matlock Pavilion, that actually means so much to me. It really
Yeah.
does, because I I always ignored. I'll be on yours in a bit. I'll try not to be late. If I'm late, it's Barry's fault. It's all Barry's fault. But yeah, Matlock Pavilion, I sort of went through life, never think like things happened, and I like ignored them, and like you get K2 and you think, yeah, okay,
Mm.
that's happened. But then something at Matlock happened, which like just changed my life forever, and that's the reason that I do this. I'm doing it every weekend in February, about two Fridays and Saturdays. I'm doing 8 either events, investigations, or whatever in February out of 8 possible ones.
But do you know that? I mean, that's amazing, isn't
It's
it?
mad,
And
isn't
you
it?
know, I mean, as you know, I mean, I've been doing events for a long, 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 long time now. I mean, I've lost track now, but you probably 30 odd years or something. I've been doing events, and I've really enjoyed them. You know, and I've always been one of these where I want to get involved with people. I want people to be part of it. You know, and to have an experience and learn things as well. And I think for us, you know, it's nice because we've known each other a long time now, Jackie, haven't we? I
Yeah,
mean,
I know.
you know,
Look how old we
I think,
are.
yeah, and I think some people think, oh, we've only just known each other, but we haven't. You know, we've
God,
been around
no.
for a long time, and you know, we've done lots of bits together and crossed paths numerous times. And
Yeah.
you know, I think like the Parameet family, for instance, is tremendous for us because you know we've got a great little community there. You know, people support each other and people are sharing stuff out for us.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
again, you know, recently we've met some wonderful connections. You know, Paranormal Truth. You know,
Oh,
what with
wow, are
Ruth
they
and
so
Jamie.
lovely?
Yeah, and they're coming on one of our events as well. And this strange man who's joined us now as well, you know, obviously he seems
Yeah.
to loiter up everywhere, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he
But you know,
does.
Scott's a great guy, you know, and this is the nice thing, you know, we've got some really good contacts out there. So I think for us being able to do some smaller events, you know, and I don't want to say regular events because I don't think we want it to be like that. You know, we just enjoy
No,
what we
just see how
do.
it goes,
Yeah,
really. You
you
don't
know,
want it.
and I, I've always been one of these big believers. I want people to experience things. I want people to have a go, you know, and that's the nice thing with it as well. I see we've got some banter going off in the chat room,
Oh,
Jackie.
yeah, already, isn't it?
It's that,
And
it's that,
like,
it's that, it's that Taro Tracy and that naughty Scott Matthewson again.
oh, exactly. And I've got Nigel. Nigel's wonderful. He always shares my things onto his page. And
Oh,
he's
thanks,
got a
Nigel.
hamster called Rocky as well.
I've just seen that. How is
So
Rocky? Well, how is Rocky the dog doing today? Rocky
he's
the hamster
snoring.
is doing very well.
He's fed up because
But,
I'm talking. Here you
but
go.
yeah, but I
Scott gets
think
everywhere.
oh, I know he does. But yeah, but I mean, I mean, we've had we had a really good successful event when we did the one at Newstead
Yeah,
there
that's
with
right.
our team, and I think you know what it's shown us is people want new venues, they want new places all the time, you know. And funny, we were just talking, weren't we, about certain venues that seem to have been done to death over the years.
Yeah,
And it's you know it's bizarre, really, it really is. So I think you know let's see what we do, see what comes up, but I think definitely the market's still there for paranormal events, and
yeah,
people seem
that's
to
right.
enjoy them, you know. And as I say, some great companies out there, Haunted Heritage, Haunted Happenings, you know,
Yeah,
they're all there doing a fantastic job. And
they
myself
are.
and Jackie, we were with Hazel, when was it, October was it, last year? We sat and had a drink with her and everything.
Yeah, that was at the Parameet. That was with Hazel, wasn't it? But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, which
and
was
I
good.
do go on events.
Yeah,
Haunted Happenings,
yeah,
Haunted Heritage as well. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I do need to join Vicky. That's for certain.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah,
Vicky, you know, I mean, you know, not with Neil Packer, you know, Haunted Antiques. You know,
yeah,
again, another great little venue there, and I know you do there, Jackie, don't you? You
yeah,
hire that
that's
one and do
right.
it
Yeah,
yourself. But you know, I've always been a big believer that I want people to have that personal paranormal experience. You know, and it is difficult. It's difficult when you're using historical buildings because you know, none of us want people to damage things. We don't want people to fall
that's
over and
it.
damage themselves. And we have to respect that. You know, that at the end of the day, we are in museums a lot of the time doing these ghost stunts.
That's right.
You know,
Where you've got the steps and everything, and
yeah, yeah,
cellars and caves and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we lost Tutbury Castle, didn't we, last year? And that was
Oh,
a shame.
that's
That
awful. Yeah.
and I mean, I wonder what's happening with Tutbury now. For instance, is it just going to sit dormant and empty, or will it come back alive again at some point for ghost events?
But it's lost all its furnishings and it lost a lot of its character, hasn't it?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
Like, obviously, all the
absolutely.
furnishings have been sold and everything, and a lot of what made it what it was. Like, even
Mm,
the
mm.
costumes there as well, they gave it something, didn't they? But
They
now
they
if you
did.
look at it, it's gonna look really sad.
Well, it will do because there'll just be nothing
It'll
in the
be gone.
in
Yeah.
the rooms at all, will there? The hall will be
No.
empty, and it'll feel very different now as well.
Yeah, that's
And it's a
right.
shame, like I say, because it was a lovely venue, and I mean, gosh, I've done Tutbury now for I've known Leslie for over 20 years now. In
My
fact, as
gosh.
a
Wow.
personal friend, and all credit to her. She did a tremendous job. She kept the place going for
She did.
20 odd years, 25 years, I think, something like that, which is
It's
fantastic.
Jay.
Here's
Can I hear?
Jay. Hello, Jay, mate. You all right? Have we
Yeah.
got Jay with us? Jay, we're going to mention, obviously, Jay's got a wonderful, successful
Yeah.
company now, what he's set up as
Yeah.
well. So give yourself
SPS,
a
isn't
plug.
it?
Yeah, give
Yeah.
yourself a plug, Jay, on the group. But,
Yeah. Type it
credit
in
to
there.
everybody. Yeah, credit to everybody setting up. And, I think I'm interested to see what happens at Newstead this time round when we do it, especially doing
Yeah.
2 nights back to back.
Yeah, I do like doing back to back, and the thing is we finished early as well at 12 o'clock. I did
Yeah,
Shepton Mallet back to back, but I think both finished about 3 o'clock. And like, oh gosh, yeah, and us camping
no,
as well.
I can't do that anymore. I can't do the
Oh
early hours of the morning.
yeah,
But I still enjoy them. I still enjoy the ghost hunts and everything. And I think what's great is we keep saying this. There is an ever changing market out there, and new people are always coming on board, want to have a go, want to experience something. And I think that's great. I
yeah,
really do.
nice one. Yeah, so there
Cheers,
you go,
Jay.
Spiritual Paranormal Society SPS.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, give them a like and everything, and well done on Strelly. So
yeah.
that
Lovely
was up for no
location.
time. I'm actually going to that. I've got have I have yeah, Amanda's going and another friend. So yeah, so that's good. So three of us are going there. So looking
Great
forward to that
location,
one.
isn't it?
But
Yeah, great
it
location.
is,
It really
yeah,
is.
it is,
And
yeah. Had some
I
great
mean,
experiences
Jay
there.
Jay joined us at my development group on Tuesday night
Yeah, that
in
was brilliant, wasn't it?
Whitwell, which a lovely turnout, a lot of new people there. I've always said to people with any of my development groups, don't feel as though you've got to be there every week because you know I'm aware that people's personal lives get involved and things happen. People can't make it every week.
Yeah, it's an hour for me to drive near us, damn it. Well, the thing
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
I give myself an hour, then the M1's at 50 miles an hour a lot of the way, isn't it? And it
It's a difficult one. Yeah, it's a
but
difficult one,
yeah,
isn't it?
you shouldn't be
And I
miles
think
away, should you?
no, well, no, no, I shouldn't. No, no, but I can't do anything about that. I
You're
mean,
not.
it's
Yeah, I know.
I
Well,
mean,
it is.
I've had people, I've had people asking me about, will I do another online one? 'Cause if you remember, a few years ago, Jackie, I did
Yeah,
the
that was
online
good.
group, and it really worked. We had people
Yeah,
from all over the place. We even had a girl from Switzerland. We had
yeah,
quite a few from very strange countries. And I don't mean that
that's true.
naughtily, but what was brilliant is it showed just how far it went out into the market. And I mean, we were getting what were we getting, Jackie? Probably 20 people to that on
Yeah,
a
yeah,
regular
it's a good one.
basis.
Willow was
So
on as well, wasn't she?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
she's in
absolutely, yeah.
Scotland and
She's
she
still with
joined,
us.
so
Yeah,
that
she's
was
still with us,
great.
and I would love to do that online one again. One day because it was good because of reaching out to other people, being able to let others access it rather than coming to a group that was so far away.
Yeah, well, it definitely did work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I have done a few. I did another one which was online as well, and it did work and it does
Mm,
work.
mm,
So,
mm.
it is an option because people can't always travel. And when it is winter as well, you've got the issue, haven't you? Jan Feb,
Yes,
it can be
yeah,
icy or whatever. But yeah, here we go. So Tracy works
yeah. Tracy
online,
does an
and
online
yeah,
group.
that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah. It's
there's a lot of
brilliant if
it, and
you can do
I
that.
think the difficulty is for people, and I remember this years ago when I was looking for groups to attend to see what it was all about. And it's very hard to try and find a group. It really is because there's not a lot of them
Yeah.
that exist out there nowadays.
That's right. I
Unless
can't find any, and
no,
like I found a local one, but I don't know, it just didn't resonate with me
no,
in some way. But
no, it's hard, isn't
it's
it?
just what it
It's
is,
very
isn't
hard.
it?
Yeah, but I mean, jumping back to ghost hunts, what is it people want to see? Well, I think a lot of the time people just want to experience different things, different locations. And also, for me, it's always been the fun of it. When something happens
Oh
and
gosh,
everybody
yeah,
goes into
definitely.
a freak mode, a panic mode, and running around. And we've all done it. Even I've done it. I've done it before. And I think what's brilliant is, people really do want that fear factor on a ghost. And people always say, don't they? They'll always say, why do you do it in the dark? Well, we do it in the dark because it makes it more scary. That's the main thing
I'm
about
not
it.
scared. I didn't do
Oh, get
scared.
out, get
I
out.
don't. I don't. You know what? You ought to come to where I'm going soon. Now that is going to be scary.
Where are you going?
That weird shop.
Oh, God,
For
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I've got
yeah,
a double
yeah.
on that, and that is going to be scary.
Oh, God. Oh, now that's interesting. You see, Tracy, I'm picky. I interview for mine. So, do you interview people to join your course then, Tracy?
Oh wow!
Sounds a,
I had one, and I was interviewed actually. Yeah,
was you really?
yeah. The person sort of said where they came from on the spiritual path, and sort of where I was, and like yeah.
See,
So
I've
it
never
was an
done that.
interview. Yeah.
I've always just opened the doors up to people to go, come if you want to come, come and experience it. And I've always had this thought that if somebody's not meant to be there, the spirit world won't allow them to be there, if you know what I mean, or
Yeah,
something
that's
will come up so they can't make it. And, I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing people develop, and I said this at group on Tuesday. What was nice to me was I was listening to everybody and everybody was dead chatty, dead talkative.
it.
And
Yeah.
that's good because it shows me that you're getting involved, you're taking it serious. And there's nothing worse than, when you're in a room and everybody's quiet and nobody wants to say anything. What's Tracy
Oh, she's
saying?
Tuesday. No riffraff.
Oh dear, you wait till after this show, Tracy. Riff raff, honestly, honestly. But that's a really good point. That is a really, really good point because you want to know you're getting genuine people that do want to develop. Um,
Yeah, that's right.
the last thing I'd want anybody to do is to pay for a session or pay for a workshop, come to it and not get something out of it, which I think would be a real shame, to be honest.
I don't know. The first one I ever did, and it wasn't with you, I did it for a laugh because I didn't even believe in mediumship.
And now look where you are, for goodness
Yeah,
sake.
I know. I'm talking to dead people, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And it's weird, and I'm kind of proof that you can actually sort of learn mediumship. I think, like from the ghost hunting perspective, I go out, something flashes, but you're not getting the information. I'm sorry, it's hard
Mm,
work going. Like I was at a public event one night, and this guy, he was trying his best. He was the host, and the people with him just weren't very talkative. So
yeah.
sometimes you get the group and nobody dares speak, and they're all dead quiet. Probably not usually, but they are there. And he was going, "Oh, what year is it? Is it 1400s, 50? Oh, yeah, okay. And then is it 1401, 1402?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, for God's sake!" So I
Are
just
you
got a number in my head and I said it, yeah. And then he started
gonna?
something else. I thought, "Oh, for God's sake!" So then I got something else and gave it him. How do you know that? You know, you're on a team, mate. You know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, I think it was one of his first,
I,
public
I'm
events.
laughing.
But
I'm laughing at what Tracy's just put there. Dead people are more entertaining, aren't they? Do you know what? I always say that to people when I do
yeah, they
demonstrations. I
can
always
be,
say, do you
can't
know
they?
what? Sometimes the dead are easier to work with than the living, and I do agree
Yeah,
with you on that. I think for us doing what we do can be really quite frustrating at times because we know that what's there. We know there's something there, and I get a little frustrated. I mean, funnily enough, I had somebody contact me for a reading the other day. And then they sent me another message, and his message was something very similar to Could you give me something
Yay.
now so I know that you're real? And I just thought, no, I'm not doing that. If you
No.
want to book a reading with me, book a reading. Don't try and test me.
Yeah,
And
no.
people do, don't they? Hello, Carol. Nice of you to join us. Carol's
Yeah,
coming
hi,
to
Carol.
Newstead with us. Carol's
Yay. Be
also
lovely
coming
to
to
see
Macklock
Carol
with us
again.
as well. So I'm
Yay.
assuming Carol's bringing Phil with her. And who else are you bringing, Carol? You're bringing Phil.
It'd be lovely to see
Can't
Carol
remember.
and Phil
Can't
again.
remember
It
who you
really
said now.
will.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
again, Carol I've known a long time. Carol used to come and sit in some of my groups in the previous time. She's done
Yeah,
workshops with
that's
me as
where I
well.
met
Colin, yeah,
Carol.
you're bringing
Oh,
Colin with
Colin's
you. So,
coming.
so
Oh,
Phil and
brilliant.
Colin's coming, so that'll be a good one as well.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll have a really, really good night. I think no matter which event we do, we're going to have a good night. But yeah,
Yeah. But, I think it's because you've got so much experience as well, haven't you? And, it does come in handy, doesn't it? Like
it
when you
does.
start off, oh gosh, the first so many minutes, like you all stand there, don't you? Think, oh, for God's sake, something happened, you know what I mean? And then like everyone starts relaxing into it, don't they? And,
I think I think
and
I
it's
think I
cool.
think you're right, and I think it's that minute, isn't it? It's that first few minutes when
It's
nobody
like,
wants to say
oh,
anything because nobody wants to look stupid,
I
and it always
know.
ends up with me looking stupid because I have to be the one that starts it off or something. But do you know, I've always said to people, what's the point in going to an event if you're not going to get involved? You've got to get
Yeah, that's
involved. You've
right.
got to,
Yeah.
even if it's just calling out, sitting in a room, sitting in the corner of a room, whatever, seeing what comes out. And you've got to do that. You've got to participate. That's the good thing about it.
Yeah,
Um,
there you go. He does look good for his age, doesn't he?
I didn't realise this was an attack of me tonight. This show. But
Brilliant.
yeah, but I mean
I
the other
just smeared
thing.
Scott's on.
Oh, it's got there. Good. Okay.
I
I
bet
mean,
it's gone, I
the
don't know.
I don't know. The other thing with it, I mean, we always try to keep the numbers quite reasonable and small, really, because we don't want them to get too big. So, 30 people is really a nice number to work with. You get a
Yeah,
good
but split
mixture of
it
people
down
as
as
well.
well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just sort of enough for the energy, really, isn't it? And then,
Mm, mm.
split it out. Oh, why, here's another one. He'll cause
See,
trouble, no doubt.
yeah, he needs to come and join us at some point as well.
All right then, Phil. Yeah, and yeah, it is lovely, just like working with different people, isn't it? And the
Yeah,
meeting people,
yeah.
and it's great. Like when you do sort of host a public event, when like generally a lot of people will be people who know from the paranormal side anyway, but then
Mm,
you sort of do
mm.
get people you don't know. But it's great, like how they sort of come along, everything's quiet. But by the end of the night, they're all talking to each other, they're having a laugh and everything, and it just changes it, doesn't it?
It builds up. It builds up a
Get a
bit
big
of a
head.
community. It builds up. It's only 'cause I'm better looking than Phil. That's all. And it builds up that great community, and that's the thing. What I love about what we do. We've got some wonderful friends, followings, followers, whatever you wish to call it, and people who have shared a lot of information with us as well. They're prepared to share the events for us and things like that, and it makes such a difference. It really does.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Like Nottinghamshire Paranormal, Jay and that,
yeah.
sharing, Conjure Quest share. Loads of people are just sharing for us, aren't they? And
Mm, mm.
thanks to everyone who does that. That is brilliant. And
Oh gosh,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, we found on the last one we did, we had a small group of paranormal people that come along. This time, we've got a small group of paranormal people that come along. So it's almost a paranormal event with a paranormal mini group there, if you know what I mean,
yeah,
isn't it?
that's
In a way.
right. Yeah,
And what's nice, we've always said to them, come along. You can do your own thing, but you've got to go around with a member of our team for security reasons, really. But
yeah,
you can do what you want, really. But there's certain things that I have to respect in the building. Unfortunately, you know we have to remember it is still a religious building there, and it's
that's
got to be
right.
treated
Yeah,
like that.
it's
So
not
it
the
makes
chapel,
me,
hasn't it?
yeah. We've got the religious chapel, so I mean that would be something that we wouldn't ever use as a team,
Yeah.
just out of respect of the chapel. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great location. I mean, I was saying to people the other week about, as I said, I work there, and I've had it where I've been locking up or opening up or locking down the house. and I've heard things. I've had my name called. I've locked doors, and then they've rattled behind me. You name it. And
Oh.
do I think do I think there's something there? I mean,
Do you
that's a
like it?
stupid question. That's a stupid question for me, isn't it?
You're
Do I think
scared
there's
of him though,
something there?
aren't you? So if you hear
Well,
them, you
well, yeah, no, but I mean,
well, you know him, but
Newstead, I've never had that feeling. It's never freaked me out in a strange way, Newstead, and I think it's probably because I know the building so well.
yeah.
I mean, don't
One
forget,
of
I've
your
worked
family
there.
members was there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've been there now for what is it, 7 or 8 years now? I've worked at Newstead,
Blimey.
so
Really?
I know what goes on there. I've heard weird
Oh,
things.
wow.
Other members of staff who have said about seeing people walk through the shop and up the staircase, and yet nobody's there. And silly things like that. But it's bizarre. It really is. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I got something when I went up the stairs as well.
Did
So
you?
I went up the stairs and there's a lady, oh, she's wonderful. I think she helped us out that night. And I went up and said, oh, I felt like somebody like walked up the stairs with me. Just, well, funny you should mention that because, others had had experience of that. And,
You
it
know,
is lovely, isn't it, when you get similar things?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, there are so many stories of characters there, that have, let's say, been seen around the house.
Wow.
Byron's mother, Catherine, she seems to make an appearance. Louisa Wildman makes an appearance. I remember a few years ago when I can't remember whether it was Byron's anniversary of his death or his birthday, but I remember there was me and another colleague stood in one of the
Wow.
galleries. And we just saw a cloaked figure walk into the bay window. You've got a visitor there, by the way.
I know, it's moving.
And we saw a cloaked figure walk into the bay window, and lo and behold, when we got there was nobody there.
Yeah. It's just fascinating, but then isn't it great that you sort of know the history a bit as well? So,
Yeah, yeah.
you've got the people, they're getting things on the paranormal side, and then
Mm.
after the vigil, we can go to you and go, right, we've got this, and just get some
Yeah,
clarification, and that's good as well.
it is. Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of things that obviously we don't know about the building. There's a lot of, let's call it, hearsay about the building,
Oh
especially
yeah,
going
that's
back
right.
to sort of priory days. So it's fascinating for us to be able to get genuine information, and find genuine information. And I mean, if we can find something on a ghost hunt, a ghost event, and we can follow it through, then even better. Nobody knows what's going to come up, really.
Yeah, and you certainly got a lot of sort of volunteers and people who work at the Abbey as well.
Yeah.
Some of them are great at history, aren't they? No,
Oh,
their
yeah.
knowledge is, and it is what they love. So, if you do get something, they can look into it, can't they? And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what they like to do, isn't it? And
Yeah. There's a
they
lot
know
of
how to find things.
information, but I mean, as you know, over years, a lot of information gets rewritten, it gets lost, it gets
Yeah.
transcribed into different formats.
Well,
And I think
Wikipedia,
absolutely, yeah,
totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, the thing is, I was looking online the other day, and I was looking at the Byron sort of ancestral link, and at one point, somebody got it totally wrong and taken it
Oh
off on a
wow.
different route. And you just think, well, none of
Yeah.
that's true. You've got a totally different link there that's just not correct. And people will then use that. They use that as factual information. And I think
Yes.
for us, and I mean, when I was at university, it was all about where do you get, where's the source of this information from? Not about what you've read. It's like, well, where does it come through that it's proven? Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's the problem with a lot of history nowadays. Some of it is more hearsay than justified information.
That's right. I think we've kind of forgot how to sort out history and get the information. Like, I spoke to Penny rather on Monday, Penny
Mm,
Griffiths Morgan, and like
yeah.
I sort of asked about the history side of things because I'm doing my book. Well, I've written it and it's been checked, and hopefully it'll be out one day. Yeah, and it's like, where do you find the information? I've got a relative of the Choworths buried in my church.
Yeah.
Now, that relates to Annesley Hall, links to Newstead, and it's a bit
Well, it'll link
strange.
to colic as well, you see. That's the thing
Yeah,
with it.
exactly. And and even when I read about it, the Teverays, I think it was the Teverays of the Chaworths,
Mm,
and there's a link actually of money going to Newstead, but not the Abbey, but I don't know, something at Newstead, and it was just so interesting. And it's like, well, that was going to link, isn't it, somehow? And as a child, I was always fascinated by Annesley Hall because I used to drive by it every
Yeah.
week. So I always went to
I mean,
Mansfield, and Newstead's always been beautiful in there, hasn't it?
oh yeah, yeah, and I mean we're lucky, we're really privileged in a way to have Newstead still standing because when you think about it, going back to the Second World War, we lost so many of our sort of stately homes. We lost a lot of
Yeah,
our abbeys in this area. Rufford Abbey went. We lost Clumber House. All those sort of buildings just began to fall into disrepair because people couldn't manage the upkeep of them. And we
that's
are very,
right.
very lucky to have like Newstead still standing. But I mean, as I always say to people, don't forget it was owned by the council in 1931. So
Wow.
it is interesting to see that it still survived, and that a lot of it is still intact, how it would have been in those very days as well.
That's right. With them having the furnishings, that's a big
Yeah,
one, isn't it, really?
yeah,
That
yeah,
that is
yeah.
massive because now, you know, the places are struggling to keep the buildings in a good
Mm,
shape, aren't they? And, uh, then you've got, like, National Trust or somebody coming in sometimes if they're lucky. But I think the listing of the buildings is sometimes an issue as well. I think if a building's listed, much as though the
yeah.
whole purpose was trying to save them, it's actually getting
This
them
was
destroyed, isn't it?
This was one of the
Oh,
problems that, if you
honestly,
remember,
yeah.
what we used to find with historic buildings. If they belonged to like a national trust or English heritage, you never stood a chance of getting near them because they didn't want them to be investigated.
Yeah, that's
But I
right.
think what's happening now, a lot of these historic places are seeing that there's income to come from other sources again, and probably they're going to start opening the doorways up and allowing people in to do investigations, which would be great. And that would be tremendous. It really would. Here's Amanda. She's joined
Yeah, there's
us.
Amanda. Yeah, that's cool.
So, but yeah, but I mean, great to see
Yeah.
so many people. I mean, it's nice to see Phil, Carol's with us, Tracy's with us. Hiya, Helen.
Welcome,
Didn't see
Helen.
you. Helen's here. Yeah. And it's great that people are jumping on board. And really, it was just a bit of a general chit chat what
Just
we
a
were going to
natter,
have
isn't
about
it,
events,
really?
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because Barry has got so much experience, and you haven't been doing much of the events recently, have you? You kind of eased
No,
off,
I mean,
really. Now,
no, I mean, I pulled back from it. Not pulled back. I just probably went on a different route for a while, with
yeah,
events
that's
and
right.
things, and I started doing more stage, more demonstration shows, which I enjoy. And then, it's only been recently I've thought, actually, you know what, I just want to do a few ghost hunts again. But I think probably for me, a bit selfishly for me, I don't want to do them where I'm sat up till 3 and 4 in the morning anymore. I want to be in bed at a reasonable time. Oh, thanks, Amanda, darling. When you
Yeah,
say
but
I'm a
you don't
legend,
sleep. Yeah.
when
That,
people say I'm a legend, does that just mean I'm old, Amanda?
but then didn't Phil call you a legend as well?
Oh, Phil, I can't remember. Phil called me something, didn't he? What did he call
Oh,
me?
thanks for watching, Helen. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Barrie
you'll love
John, the
Newstead.
legend.
You really
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah, well,
wow, that's so
honestly, we'll have
cool.
a good time. We really
Yay!
will. And Newstead is such a beautiful, beautiful place. Anybody who's watching, listening, even after the show, if you haven't got your tickets, you'll be lucky to get them. To be honest, because
There's
I
about
think Newstead.
10. There was 10 before the show, but we know we've got
Yeah,
people who want them. So we
I
sold
know,
out the
I know.
21st quick, and
Yeah, I know. Out of those, those 30 tickets went on sale on Wednesday, and as of was it this morning? This morning, I think there was 13 left,
yeah, I
and
know
then
it's
suddenly we're down to 10. And I know out of that, there's
yeah.
already 3 that are going.
Oh,
So
yeah, and
yeah,
I know somebody's trying to get some friends together to go. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but
no doubt there'll be more. And I mean, me and Jackie's talked about looking at a few other venues as well, haven't we? And doing a few
yeah,
smaller
that's
ones as
right.
well. But as I say, there's some very good companies out there. We don't want to be, and I don't want to be another paranormal company running
Yay!
events because there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, Jeanette's wonderful as well. I'll have to get Jeanette to come to one.
Oh,
But yeah. But yeah, it's just a chance really, like, the thing is, like, if you do a lot of paranormal, it can be hard to go to a public event because you've got a mix of
yeah,
people. But with
yeah,
our events, if we try and keep, like, the people with the experience sort of together and they can
Oh
do
God,
theirs,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and just work it that way, really, because people have got different needs when they go to an event.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, Jackie. Because what we've always tried to do is the people who are new, the newbies. I want to spend time with them. I want them to show them. I want to show them how it's done. What to experience, what sort of things we've got, and you've got some equipment. I've got equipment. We've got everything from K2s, REM pods, pendulums, EMF meters. I'm trying to think. Jackie's got a total array of things. Anything that
yeah, which
flashes
I
and lights
generally
up,
don't
Jackie's
use.
got.
You know what? When I do host, when I've hosted at Haunted Antiques, I just let Amanda get her stuff out. I just take mine. I just leave it in the box because I just I don't know. But yeah, I've got loads of kit, and I keep buying it, and that's it.
And that's
But
and that's the good thing. I was just reading some of the messages. Yeah,
yeah, we say late nights. I'm doing a different type of ghost night, 1:11 till 7. We all do ghost night show activity. Yeah. But the thing is about you, Carl, you pick things up as well. And I didn't realise
yeah,
how well you pick things up until you went to Nottingham and you went
yeah.
to the Robin Hood, where you were sort of getting a bit of grief from the spirits there, which was funny. But
But
yeah.
I mean, we've always said this, haven't we? I mean, I remember the good old days of ghost hunting. Years and years and years ago, where we used to start at something like 7 at night, and we were still there at 7 in the morning, and then we'd have breakfast, and then all
Oh,
drive home. And we did that year after year after year. And I think people forget, and Carl's just said it there. Activities there all the time. It's not just in the night time; it's there in the daytime. Things will happen. Probably it's just the fact that when we're in the darkness and there's no lights on, we're more sort of susceptible to it. We look at our other senses and tune in a little bit better.
yeah. But then you can sort of miss things if it's like dark,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
like I was with Brian Holloway. I was at Mulgrave Abbey, or Mulgrave Abbey, Mulgrave Castle, that was it, near Whitby. And I
Mm.
was there, and it's like somebody was walking in the grass in front of me. You could see the grass go down like footsteps.
Yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't have seen that in the dark, and
No, no.
you just got to use all your senses, haven't you? And
Mm,
I
mm.
try and lead a lot of what I do. I try and lead on the senses as well, because I think people need to use those and listen out
Yeah.
more.
I was just trying to think there when I probably did my first sort of paranormal event, and I'm talking when we did it as fun, not as a public event. My public event probably didn't start until maybe around 2001, 2002.
Wow.
But before that, I started doing my own events. Where you go in with a few friends, doing a bit of going in old buildings. You're probably
Yeah.
looking at the late sort of 80s,
I
late
know. It's cool.
80s, early 90s. And we just used to go into buildings. I mean, Jackie, you probably heard of it. Plesleyvale Mills, not too far away
Yeah, I
from here.
always wanted to get there, to
Yeah,
be fair.
wonderful, wonderful
Oh, I missed
location.
out, yeah.
And it was before they renovated it, so there was no doors in a lot of it, no windows. You just went in and walked around it. We had some wonderful things happen to us there. Just paranormal things that probably in those days we didn't know what it was.
Well, that's right, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think, like, the more you do as well, you kind of want more to happen, don't you? And that's
Mm,
the thing, like,
yeah.
if you put sort of the new people, you like explain and everything
Mm,
like that,
mm,
and they get a K2 going off, and that's awesome. And we make sure it's done right as well.
yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah.
some might put the phone near it and go, "Oh, look, that's no, we don't
Mm.
do that. We do real." And if there's a way of debunking it, we will. Oh, that's a radiator. If we can find a valid source,
And
and
that's a really
we
good
want people
point.
to learn.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I will always be honest with people if I think something isn't paranormal, because I don't want people going away from an event going, "Oh my God, everything that happened was paranormal." You and I know that there's certain reasons things happen at times.
That's
Like
right.
you say, pipe work warming up, cooling
Yeah.
down. You
Orb
know,
photos.
oh what? Sorry.
Orb photos.
Orb photos, yeah, orb
Yeah.
photos. I mean, the other night I was invited to sit in a physical seance
Oh,
up in
wow.
York. And I've got to say, it was magnificent. And people that know me know that I have a real passion for physical mediumship. And we were sat there with the medium. There was 16 of us in a room, a
Oh my
little room
gosh.
as well. We were all literally touching each other. And we had basically psychic trumpets going up in the air, moving around the room. And one of them actually come over to me and the lady next to me. It tapped the lady next to me on the head. And then with me, it kept poking me in the arm as if to say, "Oi, listen, you're not listening to me," And it was like this. And then when you acknowledge it, it goes off and does its own thing again.
Oh
And it
wow.
was tremendous. It really was. And I mean, people that know me know I've done readings for, oh God, 35, 40 years now. And one of
Gosh.
my biggest pleasures is knowing that people have gone away with a smile on the face. They've got what they wanted to make them smile again. That's the way I want to say it, and
That's the
it's
big one,
difficult.
yeah.
Yeah, and
And
funny today, I've done a reading for a lady today, and I brought her, I think it was her uncle through. He'd only died 2 weeks ago.
oh wow. Yeah, because at Haunted Antiques, me and Amanda were hosting one night,
Mm,
and we found that a lot of people, it was the first date they could get, or somebody else got them to book out last, or there was some reason they were there and they didn't necessarily. It just kind of worked out that they were there. It wasn't that
yeah, yeah.
pre-planned, and then their relative came through, which was really, it was amazing. But this specific lady, she was waiting to go to the funeral of one of her relatives, and they actually came through before the funeral, and like that is special, isn't it?
But this is why I've always encouraged the use of Ouija boards on events where they're allowed, and I'll say that where they're allowed,
Yeah,
because
that's right.
remembering if it's things like religious buildings, etc., they are not really meant to be used. But I've always encouraged them on events because I've always found loved ones will come through, and especially if I tend to be working with them, because it's the intention that I put out to the spirit world and to
Yeah.
the board, the site, the Ouija board, that we want loved ones coming through. And I remember giving people readings using the Ouija board. I wasn't on it, I used to stand back in the room, and then I go, "This is your mum." And they go,
Oh
"How do you know
wow.
that?" And I go, "Trust me, I know it's your mum."
Yeah,
And
incredible.
people were coming on a ghost hunt, but going away with personal messages.
Yeah, which is what me and Amanda do a lot.
Yeah,
Whenever we
yeah,
went into the séance room at
yeah.
Haunted Antiques, for some reason, the spirits were coming through. It was the relatives
Mm,
coming through, and then things changed and they started coming through in the war room. I don't
yeah.
know. It's like the spirits of the building think, "Oh yeah, this is your designated room," so the families can come through. Amanda wants to know if you teach trance.
I
I
do
want to
teach
do that.
trance. Yes, I do
I
teach
want to
trance.
go.
I've taught trance for many, many years. If you remember, at one of my sessions, Jackie, and I can't remember which one it
I
was,
did
we
trance at
we did,
yours, yeah.
yeah, we did a bit of trance, didn't
Tried
we,
it,
before?
yeah,
And I'll always play
couple
around
of
with trance to
times.
bring it in. The only thing is when you're teaching things like trance or physical, it's got to be done under very sort of controlled circumstances, and you need a lot of watchers in the room, basically, people watching people,
Yeah.
because if somebody's having difficulty or struggling, you've got to be able to almost bring them back very steadily. And you can do a room full of people, but I would say to do it more on a personal basis is what you want to do.
Yes, Amanda does
Yeah,
need more
I can
control.
talk to you about that. I can talk to you
Yeah,
about
but
that.
Amanda is great at trance. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and in
I've
fact,
been there.
I remember being with you
Ooh.
at Wiltshire. We were there, Amanda, and you went into
Ah,
trance. I remember that one. I think it was Wiltshire, wasn't it? I think it
yes.
was. And I
Yeah,
remember that
Slough,
there. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
this is the problem though. When people go into it and they haven't got that control element of it. But remembering when you're doing trance, that's why you need a controller working with you. You need
Yeah,
somebody
that's
watching
right.
over you to go, "It's time to bring her back now. She's having there's a problem here or something. But yeah, but
Yeah,
interesting.
I get it. I sort of know instinctively when
Mm.
to pull it, sort of basically, because to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
honest, I'd seen a lot of Patricia and Phil, because
yeah,
Patricia does trance and Phil's always been there
yeah.
and watching when it's got too much. So, I'd sort of seen how he operates with
Mm.
Patricia, and then I sort of, yeah, it's like you get experience as you carry on doing this, don't you?
You do. And I
And
mean,
it's
just jumping some of the
fascinating.
questions. You've got Jay there. One of the main things for me.
Oh,
Oh, are you doing Carl's? Yeah,
we're
it
doing
doesn't
this one.
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah. One of the main things for me as a host is to see the excitement in guest faces.
yeah,
Absolutely, I agree with that. Ghost hunts. for me, are meant to be fun. You want people to go out there and have a bit of a laugh and a giggle because it picks up the energy. It brings it
That's
up,
right.
and you
Oh, it
need to
does.
experience things. So yeah, Jay, absolutely support you. Carl, just jump down to Carl, Jackie.
It's
Carl
up.
Hodgson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Local
Carl,
cemetery,
we had
they've
a
got a
local
ghost.
cemetery. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And we hear this all the time. Yeah, we'll all say, yeah, but they're not buried there. All it is a shell. But that doesn't mean to say that people don't revisit that shell. We don't know. We don't know what's gone on there. And this is the same with buildings.
Yeah.
When people go to new buildings and go, oh, there's nothing here. Hang on a minute. You don't know what was here before. That's the problem. Carl, this was the one I saw.
It is brilliant.
Carl,
Yeah.
yeah, picking up on that, Carl, what I would probably say is, and this would be me talking now as a medium here, I would probably say the emotion between you and mum is still very sort of raw. And you probably need to say to her, look, mum, it's all right. You can come and talk to me. But remember, the spirit world will never put somebody in what I call an embarrassing situation. They wouldn't want you to suddenly break down in the middle of a group of people. And what I would say to you is, if you're going to want to talk to your mum or you want to talk to her, do it at home in private. Do your own, mini sort of meditation, seance, whatever you wish to call it, at home, and just say to mum, I'm ready now. I'm ready for you to come and join me.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, because
Yeah,
Carl does get a lot, and where his house is, he does get spirits because another building was where his building is,
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
backs onto where it is now,
yeah.
and yeah, he does get a lot from that. So Amanda gets a lot from a guide. So I met Alan, a guide, yeah. But it is so fascinating, isn't it? And yeah, I love
The
the
thing is,
mediumship side.
yeah, the thing is with it, I mean, you develop a hunger for it. I normally call it a
Oh,
greed, but let's call it a hunger for mediumship, where
addiction.
you learn more. Yeah, or an addiction. Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful way to
because you
say it.
just want to
Where
learn
you
more.
learn more and more and more, and
Yeah,
you want more and more,
right.
and that's exactly the same on ghost hunts.
Mm,
I've seen it where people have been on the first ghost hunt, and you think, oh, and they go, oh, we're just doing it as a bit of fun, but then you see them again and again and again
yeah,
and again. And I think now it's turned into a bit more than a bit of fun. Now you're realizing that actually there's something out
there
there,
is
and you
something
want to
there.
have a go. Yeah, and that's what we've got to remember.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, yeah, probably.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Bless you.
Jackie's saying, yeah, I can't comment on
Well,
that
I've
one.
heard something, yeah. Carl told me something, so yeah.
Yeah,
Husband was nudging me on one investigation. I thought I fell asleep, but apparently went into trance. Had a man arguing his story through me, confused the hell out of me due to not being aware of it. I tell you what,
it
Jeanette is
happens.
amazing. Like, Jeanette's recently linked into something
Yeah.
where I'm going soon, and the information she's got through is amazing. I wish you were
Mm,
coming,
mm.
Jeanette, but yeah.
It is. I mean, and again, I mean, I've done some wonderful venues over the years.
Oh,
I mean,
beautiful, yeah.
some of them I couldn't even tell you how I managed to do them, if you know what I mean. I remember going over to Buenos Aires and doing the Recoleta Cemetery once. I was invited out
Oh,
there. Germany, I've done old army camps in Germany.
oh my gosh.
Gosh, I've travelled up and down this country. Well,
Yeah.
God knows how many miles I've done over the years, but I've loved every minute of the paranormal and of the mediumship. Let's call it the metaphysical world.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've always said to people, and I will always say this: as much as I do it for me, I do it for people because I want them to have a personal experience. I want them to experience what the spirit world is about, whatever you wish to call it, whether
Nice.
you want to call it trance, ghost hunting, vigils, whatever. It's still the spirit world that we work with. It's exactly the same concept.
Yeah, I do differentiate between sort of bringing the readings through or
Yeah.
speaking to spirit on ghost hunts, because I
Mm.
just speak. Tend to stick to ghost hunts because people get upset when the loved ones come through, and I know it's good, but I don't. You know what I mean? It's one of those, isn't it?
I do
Because they're
agree with you on
happy.
that. I do
They're
agree with you.
happy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place for giving
Yeah,
people
that's
private
right.
messages. And again, I've talked about this before on shows where you wouldn't walk into your local supermarket and start giving a reading to somebody picking their apples or the bananas. because you don't know what people are going through at that moment in time. So we do have to be sensible about it. We really do. But
Yeah.
I think certainly there's a concept there from people that, the spirit world do things on demand. Again, I've always had this bit of respect for the spirit world. I talk to them exactly how we'd have a conversation today. I don't believe in screaming and shouting at them and demanding of them,
Oh God, no.
because I think it just creates a lot of frustration. And I think if you're acknowledging them and going, right, okay, yeah, you're here. What can you do for us? Can you let us know that you're around? Especially, let's go back to some of the good old equipment that we have, K2s, EMFs, REM pods, where you're getting them to touch things, move things. I've had things happen that I couldn't never, ever, ever explain over all these years. Even now, I couldn't explain them.
Yeah, intriguing experience when I communicate with spirits. You ever get used to it, and it's always different, isn't it?
It's always different. But as I always say to people when I'm doing private readings, I just get on with it. I just do the job. I know that I get messages that aren't mine, and I just let them go. I really do.
Oh, okay.
No, I couldn't do that. I really couldn't. I'd put it this way: if somebody did it to me, I'd be mortified if somebody grabbed me and started giving me a message somewhere. And I always remember being down in London once, and this lady walked past me and basically just told me I was mad.
Oh,
I don't know
great.
why, but I don't know whether she knew what I did or what. But it was a bit weird, really. I'd never forget that one. And it's like, oh right, okay then.
Oh, Granddad watching, and you're always doing stuff
Yeah,
around the house at the moment.
that's nice. That's
So,
nice, Carl.
yeah,
Yeah, that's nice.
I bet
But yeah, so
my granddad would
so
be scratching his head with my DIY, but hey,
oh god. But yeah,
he's a
so I mean,
carpenter.
jumping back to what we come on for, Newstead, it's doing well, it's selling out. That's the good thing about it. And I think if people aren't quick, you're not going to get in.
That's right. Yeah, we've like 10 tickets left where we started. They've only been up for about 2 days, haven't they? So
I'm just going to have a quick look now just to
yeah,
see
it
what
has gone.
with, because just to let people know. I mean, I feel a bit like QVC now, Jackie, doesn't it? It feels like we're going to start selling or something. But there is. Let's have a quick look. I know earlier when I looked, there was 10. There we go.
Yeah.
Just
I
taking a
think that's
second to go on those.
newsteadabbey.org. So I've just put that link in if Facebook lets it. Yes, Facebook's let it happen. So sometimes
Yeah,
it will.
.org.uk.
Oh, got a UK on the end, but you'll work it
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll stick it on there, won't it?
.org.uk. So at the
Yeah.
moment, there's 7 tickets left now for Newstead.
Oh, okay. Right.
So
Yeah.
there's
So they
7
are going.
tickets. So I'm not being
Yeah.
funny, guys. If you don't hurry up, you
Yeah.
ain't gonna get on it. I have a feeling Newstead will be sold out by Sunday.
Oh gosh. Yeah. But I think it's because you've got the two worlds. You've got the Abbey, like we all love
Yeah,
churches, we like abbeys, things like that, don't we? And then
yeah.
you've got the house, which is the history. You've got all the furnishings. So, well, oh, here you go then. If someone's on a vigil and you knew someone was with them, would you tell them?
Yes, I would. Absolutely, I would. Yeah, yeah. No doubt about it. I would tell somebody, because if that's what the spirit world are coming forward for, then that's what I'll do. Simple as.
Yeah, and that's it. Like if you're sort of doing a vigil and
Mm,
you're doing the board or something, then
yeah.
it's obvious they're coming through. Or if you
Mm,
get a name, if there's a medium, you've got a name pop in your
yeah.
head. You might not tie it to somebody, you might tie it to the building, but it could be your relative. And the more information you get, obviously, it's there, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
fountains,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, two
beautiful.
lovely venues there, Carl. Yeah,
Yeah, just
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
just a beautiful place, though, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Oh, come on, Amanda, yeah.
Yeah,
But
jump on, Amanda.
I'm gonna see you
22nd,
soon
22nd
anyway.
of 22nd of February. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'll
yeah,
see
so
Amanda
brilliant.
very
But yeah,
soon. Oh, bless you.
Eileen's with us. Nice to hear from you, Eileen. Lovely to hear from you. Been a wonderful contact for me, Eileen has. All credit. Well done to you, darling.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just so looking forward to it. Like we've done one night already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
We
that's
see what's going to
brilliant.
happen,
Yeah.
don't we? We're going
Yeah,
to be doing this
we
private
know. Yeah,
messages
they're
on the
just going to be
next one.
queuing, aren't they? But
Yeah,
yeah, and
but
that's
you know, I
it,
mean,
isn't it?
the intention for myself and Jackie is that obviously Newstead will always stay there, and we'll use that as a firm sort of base. But we're still going to carry on doing other little locations locally for us. You know, one of them being Matlock Pavilion.
Yeah.
We've got the Galleries of Justice coming up as well. That's in
That
April.
is now that
Yeah.
is the weirdest building. Like, I actually went to a court case there.
Mm.
So I am that old. I think it was a county court or something like that. So I was actually at sixth form, and we got half a day
Yeah.
at the court in the public gallery. So it's basically whether a prostitute had been raped or not.
Oh gosh.
And how, and they're getting the jury at that time, and
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
we saw. But to go through that, then years later it be a haunted venue, and we've lost him. I'm sure he'll come back. He must have lost his battery or something. But it is an incredible place. It's also the place that I did my first ghost hunt as well. So in 2002, I watched that program called Most Haunted, which I think Barry's heard of.
Yeah. Just a bit. Just a bit.
And that year, decided to find out if ghosts exist as a New Year's resolution, and the first 2 bookings for Derby Jail and the Galleries of Justice. So, it does hold a lot of. It is dear to me,
Do you
and
know
that's it, isn't it?
the Galleries of Justice? I started doing the Galleries of Justice around
Oh,
about
definitely.
2002. I'm sure it was, and I loved it. Absolutely loved the place. I really do. Yeah, it's the one place where I've always been left to lock up at the bottom and run upstairs screaming and shouting, and it's always freaked me out being down there on my own. It really has. But a brilliant, brilliant venue. Really is one of my favourites.
But randomly, I've got a past life link there.
Oh,
And
spooky,
so,
spooky.
whenever I set foot on the premises, a judge can attach himself to me.
What, Judge Jeffries?
No, just Johnny is, not Jeffries. It's a different
Oh,
era. These he used to be
yeah, yeah.
1800s, and I've had
Oh,
a lot of my paranormal journey is actually linked to him. But even Rachel, like Rachel, won the Derek Acora Memorial.
yeah, yeah. Rachel,
So
yeah,
so I did a public event with Haunted Heritage, and I went with a few people I knew, and we sort of did a bit of investigation how we wanted to, but as in a little group.
yeah, yeah.
And she straight away she says, "Oh, you've got the judge with you." She didn't even know my story. So then, when I went to where there's a room there where women give birth, the
Yeah.
women prisoners go, and they're just chucked in this room and everything. Well, it got a bit heavy in there, to be fair. And there's a guy with some holy water. Anyway, we sorted the issue because it got really, really heavy. And I went back and I says, "Oh, is he there?" And she says, "No, he's gone." So it's great to have that validation as well.
Oh,
But
do you know?
yeah, I do have
I
run-ins
just,
with him. It's good.
yeah, I just think with paranormal events, there is so much to experience, to look at. And I think for me, the more that we do them, the more that you do just get addicted to them. I don't care what you call it, you just get addicted to it.
Yeah, that's right. And what even when I didn't experience things, so anybody who's new, it's just to get in a building. And
Yeah,
it
yeah,
can be historic, and you get to feel the building. You get to feel its energy. You're not rushing round. You haven't got
mm,
people barging by you. You can actually stand there and look at
yeah,
something,
yeah.
spend time in an area. And it was that, I wasn't really that much into history, but obviously now if you do paranormal, you're more intrigued by the history because you want to back your things up.
Yeah, and I
So
think we were just
that's
talking about that, weren't we? I think the problem is
oh
you can
wow.
almost lose touch with it, with the historical side, and we still have to remember that. We still want an element of proof to things what we do.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
never lose touch of finding proof. If you get something and somebody can justify it, wonderful. And that's what you've got to think about. You really have.
Yeah, it is useful, but some of the things you get through mediumship, you can't actually prove it.
No,
Like
no,
I got something from the Willoughby family, and I don't think that's going to be proven because what
that's
I got,
interesting. Yeah.
it's down to birth certificates, and not everybody
Mm.
would have had a birth certificate, depending on the child.
Well, depending on your time as well, because birth
Yeah,
certificates were quite late, and all that you would have found was you'd be registered in a parish record. That would have been it, which would
Yeah.
basically be your church records. But also
Yeah.
remembering that parishes covered more than one church a lot of the time. So you could be over 3 or 4 different
Oh, wow.
churches.
Yeah.
And again, remembering then, a lot of parish records were destroyed.
Yeah, that's right.
So it
Of
is
course.
hard. It really is. I mean, that's the frustration sometimes when you're trying to trace family history and family information, because unless you specifically know names, you'll end up in a
Yeah.
minefield. You really will. It's so easy to end up in a minefield of tracing names.
Yeah, that's right. But
So good.
we're gonna have to pop off. But
Yeah, you've got
yeah,
another show to do. Well, thanks to
yeah.
everybody on behalf of me, and obviously it's
But
Jackie's
thank
show,
you.
not mine.
It's the group. It's like Newstead, ghost hunts, and other events. Is it?
Something like that. Yeah, I can't
So
remember.
if you look up, I'm just going to type it out, but you'll find it. So, ghost hunts. I can't even type. What am I like? Ghost. I'm trying to get it onto YouTube as well so people can find it. So it will actually come up on Facebook sometime. And other events. Okay. So basically, what we do, we'll publish our events on there whenever we've got any information about Newstead or any other places. And also, make sure that you buy tickets either from us or if it's Newstead Abbey, go direct to Newstead
Yeah,
Abbey. Because I have
it's
had a lot of people, as soon as you put a ticket in an advert, I didn't even put ticket, I put T1CKET.
yeah.
And they're still getting all the scammers through.
There's,
So,
do you know, I didn't know this until recently, and Jackie pointed this out to me. The amount of scammers, and they'll basically say something like, "Oh, I purchased 4 tickets now. I want rid of them. If anybody wants them, get in touch with me." Just remember, it's nothing to do with us. It is a scam. They're just going to take your money and do a runner.
yeah. Oh gosh, Amanda's coming.
Oh,
Yay.
that'll be
Awesome.
6 left now. Then well done,
Wow.
Amanda. We'll see you there.
Well
So that'll
done.
be no doubt.
Awesome.
That'll be 6 left now. Then, so it's
Oh,
going to go. It'll be sold out this weekend. Trust me.
yeah. And, it's just, it is wonderful, isn't it? I've always been
Yeah, brilliant.
fascinated with it since a child, because I used to go
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Mansfield every week. And, you always see the sign. You didn't see
Of
the
course you
house,
do. Yeah,
obviously, but,
yeah, yeah.
it's there, isn't it? And the hut. The hut looks a good pub as well.
Yeah,
That's
hut's
old
still
as
got the
history,
original
hasn't it?
bar underneath. That's still there, the Squire's Bar. I've been in there. I had a look in there. It's now a big storeroom, but it's still got the original bar in there.
Oh, wow. That's
So
incredible.
yeah, but
But
anyway, so all right.
yeah, thanks everyone for watching anyway,
Thanks
and take
everyone. See
care.
you
All
soon.
right then.
See you later.
Cheers.
Take care. Thanks, Jackie.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.